Hello and welcome back to another episode of my Datsun 280Z project car build. I'm Dave, this is Grindhouse Performance, and today we're gonna add some weight to the front end by the means of this guy. It's going in the car. Stay tuned. Today's turning into a pretty wild day. This was not the plan for today at all. I actually had completely other video already halfway filmed that I hit some roadblocks on, and I really didn't want to end the video where it was. So I'm going ahead, I'm gonna move on to this, getting the engine in, trying to get the transmission in. We'll see if we can get there too. I've got a complete T56 installation kit from GM. I'll walk you through everything that's included there. So quick reminder of what we've got. Engine for the car, this is a 500 horsepower LS3, got a cam in it. It's gonna have long tube headers on it, and it's gonna be pretty cut and dry for now. I'm gonna boost the car later on, but for now we're leaving it naturally aspirated. It's gonna be good as is. And then for the transmission, we've got a T56 Super Magnum trans, 6-speed manual. It should be great. And then for the clutch, I'm gonna use a factory LS7 clutch flywheel. It's gonna be on the heavier side for the car, but for now, for the price point, it was hard to beat. So we'll do that for now, and then when we boost it later on, we'll get something a little bit more appropriate for the car. In other news, all the parts have come back from the powder coater. They look absolutely fantastic. I'm in love with this absolutely bright, obnoxious red. And then the black, I went with a wrinkle finish on all the hardware, and they look absolutely amazing. I'm super happy with how everything turned out here. All right, so without further ado, let's get into it. I've yet to find a spot weld cutter that I like, so I'm using the same process I used on the service doors to remove these brackets. I'm starting with a handheld belt sander, then using a chisel and hammer to break the welds. I'm having to go back to hammer and dolly each of the panels after working them to minimize the body filler required to smooth the engine bay. Before I install the engine, there's some factory brackets and tabs spot welded to the chassis that need to be removed. I'm not sure what new brackets or tabs will need to be added to complete the swap, so removing these now helps provide a blank slate to start from. When the car is torn down for paint, the engine bay will be smoothed as much as possible, but I don't want to use any body filler in the engine bay until all the fabrication is completed. Before spraying the primer, I'm using a regular degreaser to clean the bare metal surfaces. Eventually, the engine bay will receive a thermal coating that'll have a finish similar to a bed liner after everything's torn apart for paint. Alright, with that, the engine bay's had some time to dry. Everything's looking really good in this sweet olive drab green. It was the only color available on this Sunday. That's okay, but now we've got one last thing to do. Let's get it installed. I'm really hoping my wife doesn't wander into the shop while I'm borrowing the wheels from her Mustang. I just ordered another pair of wheel spacers so I can put the car on the ground for the first time in about 4 years, and I'd like to be alive when that happens. The engine mounts are included as part of Apex Engineered's front crossmember kit. The mounts have a lot of adjustability to them, so I'm leaving the engine further forward until I've got the transmission mocked into place. I'll be able to move the engine closer to the firewall once I've got an idea how the transmission will fit and where the shifter's located. With each episode, I'm getting closer to building the car that I've been imagining for the last 4 years. This project and this build series continues to challenge me in new ways every week, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity to share the experience of building this car with you. It also felt great recording something other than bodywork, although there's still a lot of that to do. All right, so the engine's in, everything fits really well. I'm actually really happy with how everything fits. There's plenty of room between the steering rack and the bottom of the oil pan. The oil pan to the ground, there's a fair amount of clearance there. It's actually higher than the cross member sits, so that's good. That means we're not gonna have a problem there. I did have to modify the dipstick a little bit, bend it out of the way because it was sticking pretty much straight up and would definitely have fouled the hood, but now it clears and everything clears no problem. Definitely the big problem we're gonna have is when we go to try to fabricate headers, this area, especially on the driver's side, is gonna get really tight when we have the steering shaft in here and we've got the engine mount and the other tubes and stuff. It's gonna get really, really busy in this area, especially when there's, you know, a transmission in the way, which is next. I don't think I'm gonna have the time to actually go through all of the parts that are included in the T56 installation kit, and I really wanna do that justice for folks who just, you know, don't have a whole lot of experience and are doing this for the first time. I'm doing this for the first time too, so I'm not really, you know, the voice of reason here at all, but I definitely wanna share all the experiences that I'm having, and I wanna do it justice by actually like unboxing everything, showing everything that you get, what you don't get, because that's even more important. So I'm gonna get editing so I can get this to you guys. Thank you so much for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, you know, all that stuff, and I will see you in the next episode.